We are now going to be handling frequently asked questions on Kundalini Yoga. I have with me here Dr. Anaga Bhagavan, who will now ask me a set of questions. She has come prepared with a set of questions to ask me. Welcome to the show, Anaga. Be blessed by the divine. So you may ask me your questions and I will try to answer to the best of my abilities. Please.
Welcome. I'm going to ask the frequently asked questions that people usually ask and during the Simplified Kundalini Yoga workshops. The first question I would like to ask is, as everyone asks, do each one of us have Kundalini?
That's true. As long as you are alive, you have Kundalini in your body. Now, every life form has Kundalini power. Whether it is an ant or an insect or a bird or an animal or any other life, it doesn't matter what the life form is, it has life in it. As long as it is alive, the life is existing in that body. But in a human body, it is the same life force which is called the Kundalini Shakti or the Kundalini powers. It's just a word that differs. Otherwise, it is the same ethereal energy particles that form a group which is called as the life force in the human body or the Kundalini. So as long as you're alive, you have Kundalini.
Okay. So how do we usually do this yoga? What is Simplified Kundalini Yoga and how do we practice it?
So the purpose of the human birth is to cleanse ourselves of all the sin imprints that we have in our body and to realize ourselves that we are a fraction of the totality and the fraction demands, the totality supplies. By merging our mind with the almighty state of superconsciousness, we then completely unify ourselves with the unified force, with the almighty force. Now for that, it is essential that we train our brain to go to subtler levels of frequency from the active wakeful state of beta level from 14 to 40 cycles per second, where closer to 40 is a calmer state of mind and closer to 40, closer to 40 is essentially an emotional state of mind or a mad state of mind, and where we have no control over what we do. So the objective of a human brain, therefore, is to train it to remain at the low beta or the high alpha level or the 8 to 13 cycles per second. Now that particular frequency is not possible for a normal person during the normal course of the day. And yes, indeed, we do go to the alpha state of mind when we go to bed, when we are asleep, when we are in that what we call a sleep with dream state, we remain at the alpha level of frequency. But what use is remaining at a calm state of mind when we are completely asleep? Isn't it beautiful for us to remain conscious, remain awake, remain fresh, remain observant of our own internal workings of the brain when we can stay at the alpha level of frequency? So to do that, the Kundalini has to be awakened. But the process of Kundalini awakening usually is of three types. You can chant a mantra, you can chant any mantras. There are specific mantras that are available for you to repeat chanting it again and again, or you can use breathing control. You learn a particular form of pranayama technique, or you can use an idol worship or an imagery worship, what they call transcendental meditation types. Now these three techniques usually would take about 30, 40, 50 years for the Kundalini to be awakened. But our Guru, Sri Vethathiri Maharishi, has simplified the Kundalini Yoga process, whereby by just touching the tailbone of the human vertebra, the so-called the root chakra, the trained sky yoga master, using his or her hands as a magnetic body, raises the Kundalini through the spine to your Agna chakra or the third eye or the what we call the eyebrow chakra. which is also is called popularly as the Kundalini Awakening process. So this is very unique to Simplified Kundalini Yoga process. In no other Kundalini Yoga form that such a simplified method is being taught, and in no other yoga form there is guarantee that it is a safe process, whereas in our Sky Yoga form we assure you that it is completely safe, because coupled with the awakening process we also teach you to bring your life force, your Kundalini, back to the Muladhara chakra or the root chakra, which will then transmute your life force into the spiritual force, into the magnetic force or the biomagnetic force or the physical energy. So thereby you can easily achieve a beautiful balance between your spiritual persona and the physical persona.
Yes.
You can ask me the next question.
It indeed is beautiful, to be in the alpha level of state and even being conscious. But my question is, how can it help? How can raising the Kundalini and meditating on this energy help us in our daily lives?
Very good question. I will answer this in brief, in short, in 3 dimensions. First is the body. The body, as you know, is made up of millions of cells. The brain itself is made up of about 6.5 billion neurons. You can say 6.5 billion neuron cells. Now, each cell is a laboratory. It attracts what it needs as food, and it digests and stores the nutrients within the cell as a store, as a factory, and it eliminates unwanted elements from the cells. So the digestion, absorption and elimination are 3 essential functions of each and every cell in the body. Now, in order to harmoniously function, each cell therefore is powered by this invisible magnetic glue, which is the biomagnetic energy. This biomagnetic energy is supplied from your Kundalini force or your life force. So therefore, if you learn Kundalini Yoga, particularly the Simplified Kundalini Yoga practice, you can very easily focus your mind on your own life force pulsating at various chakras, or so-called the endocrine glands in your body. And when you do that, you can very easily start to go to higher levels of transcendental planes, and thereby attain a calmer state of mind, which increases your biomagnetic energy and takes care of your bodily functioning very, very well. If each and every cell is powered beautifully, harmoniously, your organs will be functioning smoothly, and there will be blood circulation, air circulation, heat circulation, and therefore the life force circulation and magnetic circulation will function harmoniously in each and every organ. Therefore, you have a much higher chance of remaining healthy. The second dimension is your mind. The mind itself is a transformational state of the magnetic body. Without life, there is no mind. And therefore, when your mind starts to observe the tingling vibration, the tingling feeling, the vibrations of your own life force, it then calms down. Mind has a direct link to the brain. When the mind is focused on the life force, it goes to a calmer state of mind, so-called the alpha state between 8 and 13 cycles per second, and then a deep sleep state called as the theta level of frequency between 4 and 7 cycles, and even to the coma state, or called as the delta frequency state between 0.5 and 3 cycles per second. Now, in those states of mind, your mind attains peace, tranquility, and strength. It acquires willpower. Now, with this willpower, you will be able to observe the functioning of your own mind, your own self, and choose to superimpose unwanted, unnecessary, pain-giving, painful behaviors, actions such as thoughts, words, and deeds with pain-free, harmonious, and success oriented thoughts and ideas and words and deeds in your genetic center. So your genes in fact can be reprogrammed with a yoga such as the Kundalini Yoga, because it directly connects to your own genetic center by way of going to the subtler levels of frequency. And the third most important dimension is the spiritual dimension. Now, as you know, the purpose of our birth is to completely get rid of all the sin imprints that we have acquired from our parents to the first human being who is born to perhaps the first animal that is born. And this is a characterized set of imprints that we have acquired, and our job is therefore is to work hard to eliminate these pain-giving, hurt-giving imprints, so-called the behaviors that emanates from us because of these imprints, by changing the imprints themselves. You can't change the behavior unless you change your personality. You cannot change your personality unless you change your imprints that are stored as hard disks in your own genetic center. That is the first and the foremost journey that we need to get onto, hop onto as a spiritual aspirant. And then that leads to, side by side, a self-realization that this life force, this body, the cells, the magnetic body, and every single thing that we have as a human being, an entire world, and all the life forms and all the people in this world, all of us have come from one single source. The destination for us is to reach that same source. The realization that we are a fraction of the totality is indeed the ultimate journey of any spiritual quest. That is easily possible through the Simplified Kundalini Yoga system. So therefore, essentially, there are three dimensions of benefits: the physical benefits, the mental benefits, and the spiritual benefits. I hope I answered your question. It's a pretty long answer I gave you, but I guess this summarizes the benefits that you can acquire through the Sky Yoga system.
Yes, it indeed is beautiful to, even superimpose the sin imprints that we acquire and then realize ourselves. But my question is, how many times do we have to activate this Kundalini Shakti? Suppose if we activate it once, and then if we don't practice it for some time, is it necessary to activate it again by a guru?
Very good question. No, you don't have to activate it again and again. In the Sky Yoga system, once you are initiated into various chakras, such as the Ajna chakra and the Sahasrara chakra, the eyebrow chakra, the third eye awakening, as well as the crown chakra awakening, and even the Muladhara chakra, the root chakra awakening, you are awakened forever. Your life force is active, or you can start to feel it at any point of time throughout your life. So once initiated, always initiated. You can feel your life force in any of these chakras at any point of time, anywhere in the world, throughout your life.
Okay. So as a beginner, how do I practice Kundalini Yoga?
First, I would recommend that you reach out to one of our 65,000 professors and teachers across the world in the Sky Yoga system. We have over about 2,500 centers. I myself conduct this yoga in Bangalore, in India. We have the next workshop coming up on the 23rd and the 24th of December 2017, so just a couple of days before the Christmas. And if you are looking for a spiritual holiday, and this is the best time for you to come over to Bangalore and stay with me for a couple of days. And there are of course centers all over the world, and perhaps there's a center right next to you. You can go to simplifiedkundaliniyoga.com and click on the worldwide centers and search for a center near your house or near your workplace, and you can go out and reach out to them, and they will be able to help you get your Kundalini activated to begin with. So that's the step number one, the Kundalini Awakening, which is usually the last step of any other Kundalini Yoga system, is the first step in our Sky Yoga system. Isn't that wonderful? So once you learn that, the teacher will guide you through the step-by-step process on how you can meditate very easily. All you need to commit to yourself, not to the world, not to me, not to your guru and anyone else, but to yourself, is to spend about 15 to 20 minutes in the morning and 15 to 20 minutes in the evening. That's all it takes for a beginner to start becoming a master very soon in Kundalini Yoga.
Yes, as you said, in other yoga system, activating the Kundalini is the last step. But why do people have this fear? Why is Kundalini considered to be something dangerous? And what is the difference between other system and yours that you believe that Kundalini Shakti is something that it should be initiated at the beginning?
A very, very important question, and these questions are being asked all over the world, and lots of people send me these questions over the internet, especially on YouTube. Quite a lot of people comment on whether this Kundalini energy is dangerous, should we even practice, are there any side effects, and so on and so forth. So let me attempt to answer this question in a very simple way. So look, once the Kundalini is awakened, your own inner force is awakened. You gain the power to focus your mind on your own life force energy, which then creates a feedback mechanism in yourself. And that feedback mechanism increases the intensity of energy, increases the amount of life energy, ether energy particles that you can store within your body. But your body has a limited capacity. It cannot infinitely increase the amount of energy that it can store. The battery capacity is determined by your genes, by your behaviors, by your practices, by your lifestyle, and so on and so forth. So depending upon who you are, where you are, and what your age is, and your health conditions, your mental condition, your spiritual and religious practices, and so on and so forth, you could store only a limited amount of energy within your body. Now, if you don't know how to transmute the spiritual energy into battery capacity, so-called the physical biomagnetic energy, by way of a simplified root chakra meditation, then this energy can go out of hands. And therefore, Kundalini Yoga is believed to be dangerous by lots of people around the world. But it is not so in our Sky Yoga system, because we have initiated over about 2.5 million people in the last about 4 decades or so across the world, and more so in India, and particularly in the south of India. We have helped more than 2.5 million people get awakened on Kundalini Yoga, and it's safe. All of them are safe. There is not a single human being who has reported any side effects because of the Sky Yoga system. So I would urge you not to try Kundalini Yoga on your own, or not to try any other form of Kundalini Yoga, but the Simplified Kundalini Yoga, because it is in this Kundalini Yoga, in the Simplified Kundalini Yoga, the Sky Yoga system, it is only in this system that we teach you a simplified, easy method and the safest method of Kundalini awakening. So with this, you will be able to safely practice Kundalini Yoga without any side effects, without any dangers whatsoever.
Okay. So since many people practice yoga and they tend to say that their Kundalini is awakened and so forth. So what is this Kundalini syndrome that people usually complain about? That some people say that, oh, my Kundalini is awakened and things like that. So what exactly is it, Kundalini syndrome?
Well, that's a good question as well. Typically, when the Kundalini is awakened, people generally feel a pulsation or a sensation of a vibration, tingling sensation, usually in between the eyebrows. Mm-hmm. Now, this process is called as the Kundalini Awakening. And in the Sky Yoga system, by magnetizing the guru's hands, the teacher's hand, the teacher then initiates this life force from the root chakra, Muladhara chakra, around where this Kundalini Shakti is posited for a normal human being, which happens to be the 3-dimensional center of the body itself. From there, it is raised by the touch of the Guru, by the magnetized hands of the Guru, it is raised to the Ajna chakra. Once it is raised, you will feel a tingling sensation of your life force in a very gentle, feeble fashion between your eyebrows at the Ajna chakra. Now, it is possible that because of your own practices, spiritual or religious practices or disciplinary practices, your own mental concentration powers and so on and so forth, that such an awakening could take place by itself. When that happens, It could lead to various other pleasant side effects to begin with, but if this energy is not brought back to the root chakra by process of a shanti meditation, then this energy goes slightly out of control, and such symptoms can sometimes be a little bit discomforting to extraordinarily discomforting at times. People may have when it goes out of control, people may report nausea, vomiting, they may report sleeplessness, they might report raising of the mind, uncontrolled thoughts, bad dreams, and so on and so forth. But none of these exist with a simplified Kundalini Yoga aspirant, because we teach you a safe method of bringing it back to the Muladhara chakra. We tell you a recommended method of doing that. And the awakening has only a beautiful positive effect. However, I must also share with you, there is a wrong belief, a wrong imagination that this awakening is like a dam burst. It's like a huge surge of energy, huge energy that just flows from nowhere into your body. It doesn't work like that. It is very gentle. It is a feeble tingling sensation of your life force that you will feel as soon as the awakening happens through the simplified Kundalini Yoga process. And it's very beautiful, and you have felt it, Anaga,
Yes.
and you have enjoyed it.
Yes.
And like you, there are thousands of people who have been enjoying this along with me. I have initiated over about maybe 10, 11,000, 12,000 people in my life so far in the last 27 years. And I'm sure that there are people who have initiated over 50,000 people in our own Sky Yoga system. And there are people who have been practicing for the last 30, 40 years. I myself have been practicing for the last 30 years. I've been a teacher in the Simplified Kundalini Yoga system for the 27 years. So I guess I know a little bit about the Kundalini Yoga to convince you and to assure you that it is a safe method, it's an easy method, and the Kundalini Awakening is a beautiful process. It's a wonderful experience, and you must experience it.
Yes. So it's nice to know that simplified Kundalini Yoga is safe, and it's a very beautiful feeling. But as you said, you directly initiate students into the Agnya Chakra and the Sahasrahara Chakra. How does Kundalini energy gets diverted into other chakras, and how does it reach the ultimate crown chakra?
Okay, so there are endocrine glands in the body. There are 7 such glands that are believed to be the 7 chakras within the body. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraha, Anagada, Visuddhi, Agna, and Sahasrara. So each of this is associated with one gland or the other in the endocrine gland system of the body. The adrenal, the sexual gland, pancreas, thymus, thyroid, pituitary, and pineal gland. These 7 glands are the 7 chakras. Now beyond the body, outside of the body, there believes to be 2 specific chakras, which takes you to the theta level of frequency and the delta level of frequency. One is the universal magnetic field comprising of millions of stars. Then the almighty static force with its all pervasive, penetrative, surrounding fluid pressure force that is working with a self-quivering state. When your mind is fixated with that state, your brain has been found to function at the delta level of frequency, which is called as the coma stage. But you don't lose your awareness, you don't lose your consciousness in the simplified Kundalini Yoga system. So the initiation from the Muladhara chakra to Agna is done by the touch of the Guru. From the Agna to the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, it is done with the power of the eyes of the trained Guru. Then the different other chakras, the so-called the Swadhisthana, Manipuraga, Anagada, Visuddhi. These 4 chakras are done with certain specific touch processes and magnetic processes that the Guru has taught us. Our Guru Sri Vethathiri Maharishi has simplified and taught us. This is taught to the aspirants at the third level of the Sky Yoga workshop. And the theta level and the delta level, the so-called the universal magnetic field and the almighty static consciousness meditation, these two states of theta level of frequency and the delta level of frequency meditation is taught initiated with the power of the mind of the trained master. So that's how the initiation is done. The Shanti meditation, the root chakra meditation is also initiated with the touch of the trained master.
Okay. So you said in the Turyatitham, that is when we merge ourselves with the universe, our mind will function at the theta level and the delta level. But when the pranic energy, when the life force is merged at that state, then how will be the functioning of this body?
The body functions prioritized over the mental functions or the brain functions. This is a nature given law, nature given system that we have, whereby there is an X amount of biomagnetic energy that each human being has in his or her body. Now, 80% of this biomagnetic energy goes for bodily functions, mainly the three important functions of the cell, which is absorption, so digestion of nutrition, food, absorption of nutrition, and elimination of waste. Now, these three functions consume about 80% of the biomagnetic energy, and the body is wired to take priority over the brain, over the mental functions, over the spiritual functions. Now, having said that, when we meditate at the theta level and the delta level of frequencies, our brain shuts down, it rests, it calms down. So therefore, there is very little energy that is being consumed by the brain, and therefore only a very few set of functions such as the metabolic functions and a few voluntary functions are functioning at any given point of time in that state in a yogi's body. And that is why the yogi is able to retain lot more energy particles, and therefore he is believed to be energetic. He has a clear vision, he has a clear mind, his mind is clear in terms of the words that he speaks. It's not confusing for people. His lifestyle is simple. He is able to acquire whatever he wants to do in his life. So when we meditate at such low frequencies, when we meditate at such high intensities, certainly it is extraordinarily beneficial for the body and the mind.
So it indeed is beautiful to go to the delta and theta level of frequencies, even being conscious. My next question is, how old one should be to practice this Kundalini Shakti? Can everyone practice it?
Anyone above the age of 14, once you complete 15 years, once you finish 14 and start your 15th year of age, you can suddenly get initiated into this Kundalini Yoga. Up to the age of 70, we recommend that you can practice and you can learn this Kundalini Yoga, and it will benefit you. Anybody less than 14 years of age, we do not initiate it, because your life force is essential and necessary for your body to really grow. So the priority for the life force is for bodily growth, bodily functions, and such a force should not be diverted into the spiritual journey. After the age of 70, the amount of biomagnetic energy that your body can store within itself is going to be diminishing tremendously. So you are not going to have that much of spiritual energy for you to concentrate on your own life force at that point of time. So therefore, once again, your bodily functions take priority over your spiritual functions. So anybody within the age of 70 and above the age of 14 can easily learn the simplified Kundalini Yoga.
Okay. So when is the best time to practice this Kundalini Yoga?
Well, practically any time during the day you can practice. However, the most ideal time would be during sunrise and during sunset. Now, having said that, it may not be possible for people because they are, maybe working in a company, and they may have children to take care at home. They may have to, they may be working delayed shifts sometimes. So as long as your body is cooperating with you, and that is you're not too hungry, you're not full in your stomach, and you're not sick, you're not extremely tired, you can practice this at any point of time.
Okay, we got to know so much about Kundalini Yoga, but where exactly is this yoga originated from?
Well, there are scriptures that refer to it as being maybe 5,000 years old or even 10,000 years old. Unfortunately, the knowledge of the system itself was not documented well, because people probably did not even know how to write in those days. So it was passed on word of mouth, and maybe around 2,000-3,000 years ago people started actually writing it down. Maybe 500-600 years ago people started publishing it in various forms of literature. And now, of course, on the internet people have been sharing this knowledge on YouTube and Facebook and so on and so forth. But it is believed that this system originated in the eastern part of the world, particularly in India and particularly in the south of India. So there's really no documented proof that it originated from anywhere here, but the tradition has remained for so many years. You can only hear it from people who are 100 years old, 80 years old. They tell you about their great-grandfather knowing about it. It certainly is, the references of such a system exist in Vedas, in Upanishads, in various other scriptures that people have written in Sanskrit in India.
Okay, as you mentioned about people documenting it, why is this Kundalini Shakti made in the form of a serpent? Because we usually see, a Kundalini Shakti is symbolized by a serpent from the Muladhara chakra to the Sahasrahara chakra. Why exactly a serpent?
Well, it's more like an imagination rather than a real thing. Okay, there is really no snake in our body, right? Okay, there is just an imagination that perhaps it is coiled in the form of a dual snake. Essentially, the perception or the realization of the saints or the gurus in the past have been such that they felt that their mother's life force operates in a clockwise direction on the left side of the body, and the father's life force operates on the right side of the body, so called the Ida Pingala. References of this is there in the Chinese literature as yin and yang. Okay, now these two energy, Ida Pingala, when they come to balance in the spinal column, the Sushumna Nadi, the so-called your own life energy, starts to evolve or awaken through the spine into your Ajna chakra. So how else do you describe this to a child? You tell about Ida and Pingala and Yin and Yang to a 3 or 6-year-old, 10-year-old. A child is going to get totally confused. So they created these images for them to easily explain. Okay, so look here, imagine two snakes, one snake on this side, one snake on that side. Both of them are coiled together, and then they're just raising from the center of your spine into your Ajna chakra. No, that's a visual. That's a very powerful visual that can be shown or shared with people, and that's how it was taught to people. And there's really no snake, there's no serpent in the body.
Yeah. Okay, why do people who practice this Kundalini Yoga, the Mahayogis and all, why do they have to wear white color? Why do they, have this specific kind of color selection?
Well, there is no significance of any specific color that is associated with it. Having said that, many yogis, many rishis have preferred white as a basic color because it symbolizes purity.
Okay. So, when I tell people about Kundalini Yoga, a few people ask, can we do it during pregnancy? Can we do it during illness? And can we do it like wherever we want? Usually people prefer to meditate in an open space, in the beaches or in the temples or in places like that, in parks. So what do you recommend? Like who and all should not practice this Kundalini Yoga, and where one should not practice this yoga?
First and foremost, if there is a mother to be, waiting to be, is an aspiring mother there who is carrying now, then it is not recommended that such a mother gets their Kundalini awakened, because of the very simple fact that it is the same energy that supplies the energy for the fetus to grow in the mother's womb. The baby needs this energy. So this energy must remain as the physical energy in the body, so that it supplies the necessary physical energy for the body of the child as well. But if you have learnt the simplified Kundalini Yoga before you became pregnant, you can certainly practice this during the course of the pregnancy period, because it is extraordinarily useful and beneficial for an aspiring mother to be. Now, having said that, where can you practice and where you should not practice? Ideally, this is to be practiced in an enclosed room which is well ventilated. Light is not necessary, but ventilation is necessary for you to breathe properly, because you're going to close your eyes, you're going to not focus on your breathing, but you're going to focus on your own life force. So to do that, there must be enough oxygen in the room. It is not advisable to meditate in an open space, or in a temple, or in a church, or in a mosque, or in a crowded place, in a bus stand, or on a railway station, or in a sidewalk, or in an airport, and so on and so forth. The reason is, every space has a certain magnetic field. Your own home, particularly your own room, creates a specific magnetic field for itself. And that magnetic field, because of your presence in that field, it harmonizes itself with your own life energy. So having such a place for you to meditate on a regular basis increases your harmony of yourself with your own environment and your body with your life force. Whereas in an open space, in a crowded place where other people are coming in, everybody is like a cell phone tower, a mobile phone tower, so if they release energy, they absorb energy. So such energy fields then could perhaps create some kind of a conflict with your own life force, and their frequencies will be different. They may be tensed about something, they may be worried about something, they may be angry, they may be anxious, they may be upset with someone. So their frequencies are totally different. So why go and unnecessarily absorb such frequencies when you do Kundalini Yoga or any other form of meditation? So it's better that you meditate in your own room, comfortably sitting down on a cushion, or on a chair, or on your bed, or wherever it is comfortable for you, and keep the room well ventilated. Lighting is not necessary. Darkness is perfectly fine. You can just meditate, and you can focus your mind on your own life force, and you will get great benefits because of this meditation.
Okay, we got to know how simple this Kundalini Yoga is, and who and all can practice, and where it should not be practiced. Well, having said that, a few of yogis who have practiced yoga for quite a couple of years or quite some time, and there are a few elders who have been practicing yoga, and they come to me and ask, how can you just activate this Kundalini energy? Certain things like Mula Bandha, that is required for activating this energy, and there are certain asanas and there are certain kriyas that should be done before activating it. So the main question is Mula Bandha really necessary for activating this energy?
No, not in the Sky Yoga system. In the Simplified Kundalini Yoga system, there is no Kriya, there is no Tantra, there is no Mantra, there is no twisting of your body. You don't have to put your leg in some 18 different fashions and put your hand under the head and the leg and make it twist in some obscure fashion, in an extraordinarily complex fashion, and then sit in one very difficult pose and meditate. You can just sit comfortably. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor with a mat, with a yoga mat, or with any other bed sheet or any other mat on the floor. And you can sit in Suhasana, you can sit in Padmasana, you can sit in Vajrasana if you're comfortable with any of these asana. Just generally just sitting on a chair is also perfectly fine. There is no need for any preparations of sorts to do the Kundalini Yoga. We teach you how to purify the atmosphere with just your meditative power. We teach you how to purify yourself before you start the meditation. We teach you how to protect yourself, create a circle of protection in the form of a energy field around you with just certain affirmations that you do before the start of the meditation. So certainly it's one of the easiest, and I think it is the easiest form of Kundalini Yoga you can ever find.
Yes. So ultimately, what is the sadhana of this yoga?
What you can achieve with this yoga, I have already told you about. Okay, I think it summarizes in just two specific great sadhanas. First, cleansing of your genetic center and getting rid of unwanted, hurtful, harmful sin imprints, not only from yourself but from your entire generations in the future, because your genetic center is going to be passed on to your children if you end up marrying and if you end up having children. Now, such children born to such yogis will be pure, will be focused on higher causes in life. Second, you then become purified in your own mind to be firm and to achieve the purpose of life in this journey of consciousness, to merge yourself with the Almighty Force, which is the ultimate purpose of the birth itself.
Okay. So my next question is, what is the difference between Hatha Yoga and this Kundalini Yoga?
Okay, so I am not a proponent of Hatha Yoga. I am not a Hatha Yogi. I am not a specialist in Hatha Yogi, so I will not be able to comment on this. I'm happy to tell you a lot more about Kundalini Yoga if you ask me any questions. So where I'm not an expert, I would like to refrain from commenting on it.
Okay. My last question for the day, how do we stop activating the unnecessary awakening of Kundalini Shakti?
Well, the simplest way is to reach out to one of our masters and get your Kundalini awakened as easily as possible, and stop watching YouTube videos that promises that you can get your Kundalini awakened by just practicing some pranayama techniques or tantra techniques or distant Shaktipat and things like that. Such things have proven to complicate matters. Such things, a lot of people, aspirants who try Kriya Yoga or Shaktipat and things like that, eventually end up coming to us saying that, okay, my Kundalini is stuck between my heart chakra, it is stuck in my neck, stuck in my back, and I have back pain, I have mental issues, schizophrenia kind of problems, I have issues with the brain chemicals, I don't know what's going on, Guruji please help me, Master help me. So these comments often come both in my YouTube channel as well as in my email. I get at least about 100 emails with people seeking help with an accidental Kundalini awakening. So my humblest request to you is to don't try and experiment with this. Just reach out to one of us and we'll be happy to help you with this. So you can reach out to me at me@krishmuralieswar.com. So that is me@krishmuralieswar.com. You can go to simplifiedkundaliniyoga.com, which is our website. We have Sky Yoga workshops coming up. You have links for that. There's a whole lot of FAQ questions, including these questions with answers there in that website. We have a worldwide center link which takes you to vethathiri.edu.in, which belongs to our guru Sri Vethathiri Maharishi. There are 2,500 centers across the world. Perhaps there's a center near you as well. You can check it out. If you can't find, you can maybe comment on this particular video below and we'll be happy to share the link for you to go and find a center near you. We will be happy to share with you the contact details of any professor, any teacher, any Sky Yoga master near you. We'll be happy to put you across to you. There's no reason for you to just come to me. I'm in Bangalore, I'm in India. You can go to any of these centers, and all of us are equally trained, equally powerful. There are people who are more powerful than me, people who are more trained, more experienced, who have been doing this for tens and thousands of people over the last about 30-40 years. So you can reach out to any of our masters and we are all the same. We are all being trained and certified by the same Sky Yoga system of Sri Vethathiri Maharishi, and we will be happy to help. We will be happy to guide you. So dear friends, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Anaga, for giving us this beautiful guidance on a set of questions that people have. And do comment on my Facebook, comment on my YouTube page. I will also share my Facebook page. You can go on link and get connected with me there. And you feel free to comment on it. Feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to send me mails. And feel free to go to my website and check out what we have there. And don't forget, this is your lifetime opportunity to awaken your Kundalini in the safest and the simplest method available in the world. So do reach out to us, and we're waiting to help you. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed.